Welcome in to another episode of Building the Pride, a very special episode. I am your host, Drew, and I am joined by my co-hosts, one of which is Mike. Mike, how are you?
Just as handsome as ever, Drew. How about yourself?
I'm great. Mike, would you do me the honor of introducing our panel of guest general managers today?
Yeah. So pleased to have a bunch of guys, a bunch of football fans, not all of which are Lions fans even, but that works out well because they're going to be drafted for their own teams and the teams in their division. So we got in the top right corner, we got A6 or Justin. Justin, who are you drafting for this evening?
I have got the Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills, right on.
Tight ends today.
Yeah. Lions fan as well. And then below him, we've got Brian, in also a Lions fan. Is that a Stafford jersey?
It is. It's the only one I have until the new jerseys come out this year. I'm going to get a new one this year. So
looks like Jameson Williams to me.
That's what at first I thought. Well, maybe it's J-Mo.
I wouldn't do that. No,
not yet.
Maybe after next year.
Yeah. Who do you got? Who are you drafting for?
I am drafting for the NFC North.
NFC North, right on. Welcome. To his left, we've got Michael Whartonby, Eagles fan. Mike, who are you drafted for tonight?
I got the NFC East.
NFC East. And last but certainly not least, although as a Cards fan, he probably feels last, we got Luke. Luke, who are you drafting for?
I'm drafting for the NFC West. Tonight is the night our fate changes. That's all I'll say. Just be prepared.
Right on.
I like it. It's all about hope, right? So this is going to be
what
great.
It's about.
Okay, good.
All right, well, let's do this. Let me drop the banner, share the screen. I will blow it up because I know Drew's going to ask for that.
That's right.
We're going to do a full first round mock. All trades will be welcome. And I think there's a breaking news alert. The first trade was announced. Denver trades Patrick Surtain, the 2024 number 12 overall pick, and the 2025 first and third overall picks to New England for their number 3 overall pick.
Oh my God.
Was it second or was it a third?
It was a second.
It was all right. I'll go with a second. That's right. You're going to beat me up a little bit, didn't we? First and second.
My.
There we go. Just kidding. Poor reporting. Now it's accurate.
Well, 25.
And another trade was has taken place. And that wrong one. See, low production value is not why you guys come to this podcast.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings trade number 11 and 23 and a 2025 third rounder to Arizona for the 4th overall pick. So once we start going live on these things, we'll make those trades and see what happens.
This is interesting.
So
all right.
Do we want to get started?
Let's jump in, guys.
Let's jump in.
The 2024 NFL draft is officially underway.
All right. On the clock, Chicago.
Well, I'm going to jump right in because there's no secrets here. And the Chicago Bears will take Caleb Williams with their first overall pick.
That seems pretty reasonable. Did you consider trading at all?
Being that they have no other quarterbacks on their roster, no. And
No.
The GM would get run out of town if he actually did it. So, no.
All right. The Washington. Who's got Washington?
That's me.
All right.
I'm gonna pick up the phone here and check in on the new team at number 3, which I think is the Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. Yes.
Surprised I didn't get a call from them, as I do hold the second pick, and the need is still the same. But how bad? I mean, how bad do you want to move up here? Like, who are you targeting? Do you have an offer to move up another slot to get your guy? I think you probably have a guy in mind. You moved up to the top 3.
I do. We're looking at no surprise here, looking at a quarterback, right? So, what would it take to move up one spot from 3 to 2? What are you looking for in return?
I'm looking for. Let me throw something out there. What do you have to give? What is it? What is that value to you to move up?
It's one spot. There's a couple different quarterback options, both of all of which are reasonable. I'd probably say a fourth, an additional the number 3, and then a 4th round pick this year.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'll stay.
No,
I'm going to stay.
it's fair.
I like the offer, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you have a counter offer at all?
My counter offer would be a 2nd round pick for
Second round pick
for this year or next year.
Yeah, I think we could do next year's 2nd round pick.
Next year's 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
And it's the Broncos 2nd rounder. It's not owned by somebody else.
I have no idea what our 2nd round pick looks like next. I think I'm assuming so. We'll say the Broncos 2nd round pick just in case I do have another one.
You already traded that.
Oh shit, that's right. You made me jump up. How about next year's 3rd?
Nope.
No, I guess I gotta stay. I forgot that he beat me up. I gotta stay.
Well, with the 2nd pick, we're gonna go with Jaden Daniels.
Oh wow.
Jaden Daniels. There he is. Bam.
All right, so Denver's moved up, right?
Yep, Denver is moving up, so they're giving up 12, 1, 2, and Patrick Surtain. We'll force that trade.
So,
does that look right?
So New England has Christian Gonzalez and Patrick Surtain as their starting corners.
All right, forced trade.
Good. I told you I wasn't doing chaos here.
All right. Did it not go through?
It does not appear so, Michael.
You got to click the trade.
Let's make that joke about production quality again.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't see Denver on here though. There it is.
You got to
next pick 76.
Down. I'm trying to work your mouse for you.
Yeah, but it says next pick is 76.
Who did you trade with?
With New England. I wonder if I just didn't refresh this.
You didn't trade the number 3 pick. You didn't give Denver the number 3 pick. So now you got to trade to Denver for the number 3 pick and nothing.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start the son of a bitch over because he's only picked 3.
Just go to trade.
Uh-oh, we lost.
Pick with Denver.
Our Arizona guy. He's back.
He's coming back.
All right, so Denver.
And then don't give up a pick and trade 3.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And force the trade.
All right, there we go. Man.
Denver is on the clock officially.
We did it.
Denver's finally on the clock.
It reminds me of
there's a lot of paperwork mistakes
that Minnesota didn't get their pick in, and other teams started jumping up and picking in front of
them. With the 3rd overall pick, the Denver Broncos are going to take Drake May. And then the Cards, they traded with, was it Minnesota, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings, and it was
11-23 and next year's 3rd.
Next year's 3rd. I'm actually going to click the number 4 now.
So proud of you right now.
So does this look accurate?
Yep.
All right. The Vikings are on the clock.
With the number 4 pick, the Minnesota Vikings will be taking J.J. McCarthy.
Wow.
Watch it happen in real life.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. The Chargers are on the clock. They nearly had a trade with Minnesota until the offer was rescinded.
We don't.
And they bumped up an extra spot.
Don't burn this bridge.
Scoundrels, I tell you.
Deal on the table.
Yeah. So
I think it was contingent upon the Cardinals not trading their pick, which happened. So, I mean,
it's true. It was. That is accurate. So the Chargers are going to. I have them taking Brock Bowers, but I wasn't also expecting Harrison to be here. I thought Arizona would take Marvin Harrison Jr. So now I have to consider. Yeah, exactly. I feel
wouldn't
like
you rather have Justin Jefferson? Come on.
I would rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. and a rookie contract. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 5th overall pick to the San Diego Chargers.
Thank you. Because in real life, I really did not want the Giants to have Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
If he somehow,
They still gotta have someone. They still gotta have someone to throw it to him.
this is true. So, who has the Titans?
That would be me. We have the
you wanna
7th
move up
overall
there?
pick.
Do you want to move up a pick?
No, I'm good. Okay. I think the options that are going to come to me are good enough where I don't need to make sure I get a specific guy.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel too. So I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors here.
Malik Neighbors.
But there is a very good other option as well. Probably thinking along the same lines.
Yeah. Tennessee, in a similar vein, looking for the
Luke again.
lost Luke again. In similar vein, looking for offensive targets. So we've been considering Odunze, we've been considering Bowers, but we're also really looking at a tackle. And I think that they are going to go with a tackle instead of a wide receiver target. So they're going to go with Joe Alt.
Oh, I'm so excited. I get to make a pick.
The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock.
Yeah, and they're pretty excited to be here at 8 because with the 8th overall pick, I know I told everybody just don't jump into your picks, but
You're so excited.
no one has approached me about moving up, and I don't want to move down. So, with the 8th pick in the draft, the Atlanta Falcons are going to take Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama.
Right on.
What will the Bears do?
This is the Bears.
So the Bears are interested in moving down, and I know I emailed somebody about a moving down to number 11. Is there any interest in that?
Arizona.
Who's got? Is it?
Oh,
that's Luke, isn't it?
Luke, and he fell out of the Ethernet.
Uh-oh.
So we'll give him a minute here. Oh,
he came back. Ray.
There he is.
I'm back
Welcome
just in
back.
time. Apologies, the Cardinals are having some revenue issues.
Yeah.
Their Wi-Fi dropped accordingly. However, once this draft goes past, we'll be better.
When you give
Looks like
Kyler
we still
Murray
have a
that
couple
much money,
picks. So
internet gets expensive.
Exactly.
So
Looks like we
the
still have
Bears
a
are
couple
on the
picks, though.
clock, but apparently might be interested in moving back to 11. If the Cards are interested in moving up to 9.
I think there is some interest. This may be a bit of a reach, though. If
That's what the draft is for, buddy. Come
yeah,
on.
I know. Let's see who we got left. Is Fuaga? Is he still available? Apologies for missing the last couple picks. I mean, I would
Yep.
hope so. Yeah, of
Fuaga
course
is
he is.
still available.
Yep.
You know
Yeah,
what?
so
I would
picks that you missed.
trade. I mean, there's no real reason for me to trade up. I wouldn't think so. I mean, I just gave away my pick. I guess the Jets could pull a quick one on me, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're fine. I think the Cardinals will pass unless there's a sweetener, but I don't know why you do that either. So I think we're good.
All right. Bears are looking at their options here. The Bears will take Dallas Turner, edge from Alabama, right?
Edge from Alabama. Yep.
Good pick.
The New York Football Jets.
Terrible.
Jets are on the clock, and we will add a weapon for Aaron Rodgers and take Rome Odunze, who has fallen down to the 10th pick.
That seems like a pretty solid pick right there. The Cards.
All righty. Well, as you guys heard, we're going to be taking Fuaga at the right tackle position. Get some more time for our guy Kyler. And I'm not a fan of him running around all the time. I think we get him a little more pocket time. He'll be a happy man.
Yeah, that'll help out the run game too. Not just his.
Yeah, I think James Conner will be really happy.
All right, next on the clock, we've got the New England Patriots after trading down from number 3.
The New England Patriots are looking to trade their pick.
Okay. The Cincinnati Bengals are looking to come up.
All right, what you got?
Okay, so let me see if I can craft something here for us. You've got the 12th pick.
Yep.
Okay, you've got 12. I've got 19. I've got 18.
18.
So then I will give you picks 18 and 49 to come up to 12.
9.
And that was for who?
This is between New England and Cincinnati.
So 18, 49, 12. Just so that way you can see what assets are available.
So I'm using the Jimmy Johnson chart if anybody cares. And I can take you through the math if you guys want to know if it's how equal it is, quote unquote. So
We will accept this trade.
okay.
Offer trade. Force it.
That's right.
18, 49,
Force
sorry.
it, Michael.
There we go. Yep.
The Cincinnati Bengals will draft Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia.
All right.
Did you just
so
trade up to draft the tight end?
For Cincinnati. Yeah.
I want that screenshot.
We're gonna beat the Chiefs this year. It starts here.
it's your year.
Yeah, it's our year. We're gonna beat the Chiefs. We're all loaded up. We got T. Higgins for one more year. We're doing it.
The Raiders are disappointed that they lost out on the main quarterback sweepstakes.
Bo Nix is sitting right there.
Bo Nix is sitting right there. Let me scroll to find him.
That's right.
But one of the things that we do really need is an offensive tackle, and the top two come off the board, but there are other good ones. And so we are going to go with Troy Fountainu to shore up that line.
All right.
Welcome, Mav Carter and Dr. D in the chat there.
Yeah.
I don't recognize Mav's name, but welcome.
Yeah. We're accepting of anybody that wants to watch. This
Take
is a pretty
guard at
this is a pretty
13.
easy one for the Saints, in my opinion. And we're going to be drafting Olu Fashanu, left tackle from Penn State.
There you go.
We're thrilled. We're thrilled.
Indianapolis is willing to move back a couple spots if the Pats, the Jags, the Seahawks, or even the Rams are interested in moving up a little bit.
Dead silence.
Dead silence. Let people think about it. I'll scroll, see if anybody, sees something that goes, oh, we need that guy, and he might not be there. But hearing nothing ringing on my phone, the Indianapolis Colts will probably start a run on the cornerback position, and we are going to go with the freshly healed Cooper DeJean.
That's right.
Seattle Sea Rats are on the clock.
Yeah, the Sea Rats are frantically looking for another left tackle here. We got to build up that O line here after Fatanu got taken up. So you're
already out on Charles Cross?
Well, I'm also considering maybe a trade down here.
Okay.
I think we're actually going to go with J.C. Latham.
Oh,
From
interesting.
Alabama.
It's a big boy.
I think that might be the big boy we need. Get Geno
like him
more
a lot.
time.
I think he's the second best tackle in the draft.
Jacksonville at 17 is going to follow in Indianapolis's footsteps and take the next best cornerback on the board, unless there are any offers to trade up. Anybody that's still needing a cornerback, going once, going twice. Jacksonville will take Quinion Mitchell, cornerback from
pick.
Toledo.
He's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, the Patriots.
The Patriots are on the
Bill
clock.
Belichick list. Patriots.
We would like to go down a little further for this pick, but I think we've picked up enough equity. We're going to go ahead and pick Bo Nix, future quarterback for the New England Patriots, with the fastest time to throw in college football.
There it is.
This will fit perfect into that Patriots offense.
Yeah. So fun.
All right. That'll be interesting. I'm not sure he's going to go that high. I can see why you wanted to trade back a little bit.
I was going to try to get back a little farther, but we've picked up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Did you consider taking somebody different and then using those assets to move up into the mid to late 20s, thinking he's probably still going to be there?
I was working on a trade with Drew for 26.
Dallas Turner came off the board a smidge too soon.
Yep.
So
all right. So the Rams, Luke, we got another NFC Wester here.
Well, for the Rams here, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer here. We got to fill the pocket in the D-line. We're going with Byron Murphy out of Texas. And we're very happy with this young man. Be hugging my war room here if they were here. But yeah, it's a great pick. It's a great pick.
Yeah, especially with Aaron Donald up and retiring. I was just like, oh, it's the first time a non-Lion retired. I went, oh, this sucks. Like, I'm gonna miss watching this guy play.
It's sad for the game, but we think if there's anyone who can do it, fill those shoes, it's Byron. We got big hopes for him.
Him side by side with the rookie last year that was up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. completely drawing
Kobe
a blank
Turner?
on his name though. Kobe Turner. I was thinking,
Yeah.
yeah. Those two side by side, you're not gonna run through those guys.
Great young locker room. Great
Yeah.
stuff.
Pittsburgh Steelers,
That's me. I'm back.
who just revamped your quarterback room with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson on a league minimum.
Yeah. So let's be real.
Contract.
Justin Fields is probably the quarterback of the future of this franchise. So we're going to give him every opportunity to make sure that he has enough time to throw the ball. So we are going to be taking Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon, to give him somebody that he can grow with.
Even though he was, Russell's been named the week 1 starter as of right now.
I'll bet you a steak dinner. Russ gets 4 games, and by the 5th game, it's Justin Fields.
Russell wasn't playing bad last year.
That's why he got cut.
Who has the Dolphins?
I do.
Is there any interest
Right.
in trading back?
Where to?
29?
I'm intrigued.
Telling me more.
Yeah.
What would it take?
8 picks.
8 picks?
No, it's
Yeah,
trading back.
21 to 20. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's how math works.
Thanks.
Do you have a second rounder available?
I do, but that might be a little steep for me.
Next year's second rounder.
The Lions are all in, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do that. Next year's.
done deal.
All right. So we're trading with the Lions at 29 for next year's second round pick and this year's 29 for 21.
Yep.
All right. We're going to force the trade. The Detroit Lions are now on the clock.
The Lions will be taking a lot too from the UCLA Bruins.
Oh, look, Hatters is so happy right now.
Yeah,
There you go,
Latu.
Hatters. I actually really love this pick. I love that. I really like him. I think that he's a really good pass. He's not as athletic as the other guys, but he's got pass rush moves and understands how to get by tackles. I think Aiden on one side and this guy on the other would just be dynamite.
Yeah,
I'm not
Malik
sure he
McNeil
would
in
have
the
gotten
middle.
by the Eagles, so I wanted to, since he was
He would not have
sliding
gotten by the
over.
Dolphins.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have gotten by the Dolphins. Yeah,
Ah.
or the Eagles.
Well, you're right. He was not going to get by the Eagles at 23. I think this year, cornerback is probably one of the biggest needs we have. But the Eagles haven't drafted a first-round corner since 2002.
Yeah, that's another good point.
And I don't think Howie Roseman is going to change that. His philosophy has always been on the D-line, the offensive line, tackles, quarterback or wide receiver in the first round. I think he's going to continue to build on the defensive line, especially after trading Hassan Reddick. And this is where we select Jared Verse.
That's a great pick.
Pair him with another former Florida State, Josh Sweat. We'll have 2 of those guys in the line. We'll just
You
continue
think-
to build on the line.
Do you think Josh Sweat is a Eagle after this upcoming season?
We did restructure his deal.
Sure.
We did extend him. So yes.
Okay.
God, and then having Jalen Carter, but in the middle between those guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a really tough line. That's so good.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I was waiting to trade up. If somebody took one of those 2 ahead of that pick, I would have tried to trade up for one of them.
Yeah.
We also trade up or trade down every year in the first round.
Yeah, you guys, Roseman's super active.
Yeah.
All right, the Cardinals are on the clock with their second pick. Just to remind everybody at home, their first pick was Fuaga to shore up the offensive line.
Well, this is an offense heavy first round for the Cardinals. Fortunately, lost Hollywood. You don't have much going on the front for Kyler to throw to. We're gonna go with Brian Thomas out of LSU. 6'4", 4'3". It's gonna be great watching Kyler sling the rock to him. Visions of D-Hop, but just more cost efficient. It's gonna be great. It's a match made in heaven.
Love it. That'll be a good. I mean, you need weapons, right?
We need someone. I mean, we spent all this money on Kyler. I don't know who he's gonna throw to.
Yeah. Who has the Cowboys? Oh, that's Mike, isn't it?
I got the Cowboys.
Now you have to do this.
Don't be taking a punter.
Did I sabotage it here a little
I
bit?
was just gonna say a punter or a place kicker.
So they really need a running back, but I'm not going to take a running back in the
Don't
first
you
round.
dare ruin my mock.
Maybe I should.
No, don't you dare.
And if anybody wants to see like who's available and like
I know.
just have me like filter on positions, just let me know.
I mean, there's some really good players available still, but who is the center Frazier still out there?
Oh, he's out there.
Yep, Zach Frazier.
Okay. Tyler Guyton, is he right or left tackle? I forget.
You can do whatever you want.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's
He has tennis
Played-
rackets for hands. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
most of his
I'm also
snaps have been
concerned-
outright.
Not to talk about the Eagles again, but I'm concerned Howie will draft Lane Johnson's replacement with the first
Sure.
round, and it's going to be him.
Howie's always been a year ahead on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Lane Johnson has said he wants to retire early. But I think the Cowboys drafted a lineman who had to play. He's a guard, but he played left tackle well last year.
Tyler Smith.
Yeah, Tyler Smith, and then they lost their center in free agency. I'm going to go with the center here. I'm going to go Zach Frazier.
Two centers. My God. What is this world coming to?
Kind of blowing up my plans here.
All right, Green Bay, the Packers are on the clock.
The Packers don't have a lot of holes, but they do have some needs in the interior offensive line. So we are going to take Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon.
Yeah, except I already drafted him,
Yeah,
so
he's
that's
already
going to be
taken.
impossible.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah. Schittsburg took him.
Oh,
Okay,
second option, then I will be drafting Graham Barton from Duke.
there it is. Just a
That
quick
seems pretty
pivot.
Solid.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has a lot of needs.
They do.
But
but we
quarterback's
already-
not one of them. They just signed.
We already know where we're going, though. So
Oh, interesting.
we traded Carlton Davis to the Detroit Lions, and we're going to draft his replacement with Nate Wiggins from Clemson.
All right.
Oh, look, Luke's back on the clock. Weird.
Hey, we're back. Hey, it's been a big draft here. For
We
the
haven't heard from
Cardinals.
Luke in a minute. Yeah.
We're gonna keep it up. We're gonna keep it up. Except this time we're flipping the ball. We're going Kool-Aid out of Alabama. Gonna be a great addition to our secondary. Lots of holes there we got to fill. Really excited for this draft. I think we've done a wonderful job.
It's the self-complimenting for me.
You gotta you gotta be confident.
Yeah.
So, who's got Buffalo?
I do.
Is that something you might be willing to trade back for?
Where are you at?
32.
38.
Oh,
38?
Yep.
I don't think so. Unless you got something really good to offer.
who's at 38, Mike?
The Houston Texans.
All right.
They don't have a first round pick because he's playing
Trying to
quarterback
lose
for them
those
right
players.
now.
He's doing all right.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, we also don't have a third round this year.
You mean the Tennessee
what if-
Titans?
Huh?
I mean, Tennessee's at 38. Is that who you meant? Houston's at 42.
No, I meant 42. Oh shit! I wrote down the wrong thing.
That's okay.
Bless it. Yeah, you're right.
I'll just call you out.
42.
During
Yeah, thank you for calling me out.
You're welcome, buddy.
So how about 42 and next year's second round pick?
We're gonna pass.
Monty is thrilled. We don't know.
All right. Unfortunately, I don't have too many other assets because they're playing quarterback for me right now.
Fair enough.
Buffalo.
The Bills are going to hell. Never mind. The Bills are going to draft.
Going to
Ladd
hell?
McConkey. Yeah, that too.
Ooh.
Ladd McConkey.
I really like that pick. That is fun.
We could get a little later in the first round. We'd be doing it, but
no concerns that he's redundant with like Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir.
I think he can play X enough. He can play slot. Gabe Davis is gone. I think he's going to be a playmaker.
All right, excellent.
He's not going to win a jump ball or anything, but you got Stephon Diggs for that.
There you go.
Josh Allen needs weapons.
Hey, and you're right back on the clock, man.
All right. The Miami Dolphins are going to draft Jazon Newton.
Fuck.
He has fallen too far. We need help on the D-line. It's a no-brainer.
That was my pick.
That just made Drew sad.
Yeah.
So, Drew, are you interested in moving back now that your guy's off the board from 30 to 42?
Let me think about this for a minute, Michael. Edge. Most of the edge prospects are off the board. I traded both of my tackles. Well, I traded Morgan Moses to the Jets for some unbelievable reason. So I could draft a right tackle. A.D. Mitchell is also right there. What's your offer, Mike?
The Jets appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Allowed us to draft Rome on the 10th pick.
There it is.
Where are Houston? There we go. So the offer would be 42 and 2.
42 and 2.
And 2 next year.
A 2 next year.
Yep. So our second this year, our second next year.
I'm crunching some numbers. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right.
So
how far off was I on the Jimmy Johnson tark?
You were a little ways off. You were a round off. So
oh really? Should have been like a round 3 next year.
The equalness of the Jimmy Johnson chart would have been like a mid third round pick. So I'm happy to take your second.
Right.
Yeah. So 42 and your second next year for 30. Except
30.
that.
I mean, Houston's going to assume that's going to be a late second.
Yeah. Agreed.
And we are going to take A.D. Mitchell to give us another offensive weapon for everything that we just put, all the assets we put in last year to our quarterback position.
Alrighty. Well,
and the whiners, the 40 whiners.
Oh God, Michael.
Well, the 40 whiners. As much as Brock Purdy's the check down king, we got to get him some more time. We're going with Amarius Mims out of Georgia. It's a pretty obvious pick. I think it's tried and true. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Trent Williams on one side, you're going to have Mims on the other.
It's going to be nice.
Seems pretty solid. The Kansas City Chiefs are very sad that Mitchell got snapped away from them But Guyton is still available, and that makes us at least a little bit happy. So we're going to shore up the offensive line with Tyler Guyton.
Well, this went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, so did I.
Let's just keep rolling in the second round. Let's go.
You know,
That's right.
I was thinking about that, but if we could do that, to be honest. I mean, it would take.
I was half kidding, by the way.
No, I'm not.
Drew will be like,
gotta go
I'll
back
draft
to
all
the
night.
trades.
Let's do all 7 rounds. I know Luke's like, hey, is this going all 7 rounds today? I'm like, nah, that'd take forever. And Drew's like, oh, but we could do all 7 rounds.
So if we're not doing the second, who was the Ravens' target with their new pick?
Well, to be honest, I just did it for the value because I thought I was getting a pick a whole round ahead of where I should be getting it. But usually the way that I look at the Ravens drafting is that they will. I mean, that's why I was so upset about Newton going right off the board right in front of me, is that they'll just sit there and take whoever falls. I mean, they've done that for years and just be like, value, we'll just plug you in. And so I was going to take Newton, but now that I've traded back, I would just be doing the same thing. I would just be looking at, okay, we've got 8, 10, 12 picks or whatever before we get to me. Let's see who's quote unquote falling on the board. Is Xavier Worthy still there? Has a tackle or a guard prospect still on the board? Maybe a pass rusher, like maybe Chop Robinson might still be there, something like that. But they just usually like to sit back and watch. So take their value where they can find it. So that's kind of the way I was approaching them, but I'll take the picks. Happy with the picks. How did you guys feel about the players that you ended up with? Justin,
I know that the Vikings will be looking to move up to get a quarterback. Do I think that's maybe the right move for them? I don't think so, but
it's the perfect move.
Especially to get the 4th best off the board.
As a Lions fan, I really like that move.
Yeah.
Hey, as a Cardinals fan, I'd be thrilled to see it too. I really don't think we need Marvin Harrison. I think there's a lot of value.
And like Monty last year demonstrated that he'll trade down and bounce back up if he thinks the value's there, right? So, you could absolutely see Arizona collect a couple picks. They might be all over the first round,
Yeah.
I think the AFC East is really happy with what they've done. Like I said, New England's depleted of any talent, really. So being able to get Patrick Surtain to pair with Christian Gonzalez is going to make that secondary probably one of the best jump secondaries in the NFL. We got a lot of extra picks. I don't think they're a quarterback away from anything right now.
Sure.
So getting Bo Nix late, who's got a quick time to throw, that fast throw offense that they've always ran, I got to assume that we're going to keep it, even with a new coach. So happy there. The Dolphins got Newton at 29. Can't be mad about that. Bills would have liked Brian Thomas or someone like that to fall, but it didn't happen. So
I do love McConkey. Like, I think that that's going to be like a quarterback's best friend. I think that Josh Allen is just going to feed that kid a bunch of targets.
Like, not really a similar receiver, but similar to St. Brown in the fact that he's just going to be a target monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like what Denver did. Coming up to get a quarterback. They don't have a ton of resources, but they figured it out and made it work. Marvin Harrison.
I was sitting there like, what picks do I have? I'm like, okay, picks are okay, but I don't have a ton of them. And then I was like, what players? And I'm just like,
Drew approached me with
guy worth doing.
Drew approached me with Las Vegas or Denver picking up. And he's like, what is it going to take to come off it? And I was like, well, it's going to start with
Crosby or
Surtain.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way that Vegas will trade Max Crosby.
No.
So I figured that was probably a non-starter from like the whole like realistic kind of standpoint. So I'm like, but I do think Denver could potentially like they need to move on from Russ and they need to do something big. And I think they would give up Surtain for that to that opportunity to grab a guy like Drake May at 3. I wasn't sure if Daniels or May would be there.
Which one did you want?
I wanted May, but I didn't think he was going to be there. I thought Daniels might be there. But like when Washington's like, so do you want to move up one? I'm like, I'd be happy with Daniels if May was taken, and I'd be happy with May if Daniels was taken. So I'm not sure it's worth it.
And that's why.
But if like Jaden Daniels went number 1 and something crazy like that happened, I'd be like, yo, I'm totally moving up that one spot to get. Of course, you wouldn't move off of it either. So if Caleb Williams was on the board at 2, you just run to the podium.
Yeah, 100%. I would. I really liked Philly picking Jared Verse. I thought that's a Philly move. It just has Eagles written all over it. What else here? I thought, let's throw some props to Luke. I liked the trade out of 4, and then Fuaga, McKinstry, and Thomas. Those are all dudes at positions of value. And it might be an expensive class a couple of years from now, but like those guys are all going to be on rookie deals, right when Kyler's eating his huge cap number, right? So
if it's an expensive re-signing, if it's an expensive class 4 years from now,
yeah, you did a good job.
That means they all hit, right? So
you hit on 2 first round picks in 1 year, you're living good.
Yeah, and the weird part is like we tried to kind of to take a go at it, and then Kyler got hurt. We got in this weird, do we rebuild, do we not rebuild phase? And I don't know. I was sad to lose Hollywood, so I think we had to get someone with some better hands, someone bigger. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy. I really hope the Cards do something similar like this, trade down, because I don't see a point for them being in the top 10.
Chat says the trade for Bowers was the move of the draft.
I think he's just being polite, but but like the Bengals lost Tyler Boyd, who was, it's just their third guy.
T. Higgins.
Well, they franchised him, but like this is probably his last year.
Didn't he ask to be traded?
Sure, but they're not going to do that. So he'll play on the tag. That's fine. And then he'll probably get traded or refranchised next year. But like if you do move Higgins, whether that's draft night before the trade deadline next season, which they push back, or in the off season, you do the same thing again and, lock in some more value. At least you have another guy that Joe Burrow can be like, oh, here you go. I'll throw you the ball 8-9 times a game or whatever, and we've seen teams, Kansas City's got a pretty good tight end. San Francisco's had a good tight end for a long time. Detroit.
You're not going to protect Joe Burrow. Give him a way to get rid of the ball quickly.
Exactly. And like they already demonstrated with the Penei Sewell versus Jamar Chase debate, philosophical debate a couple years ago. Like we're going to give our quarterback people to throw to, and so like, Bowers will work over the middle. Chase will be your deep threat. Make sure. Let's just hope that Joey doesn't get hurt again. Like.
Did you consider
2 out of 4?
Did you consider trading up into that like 22, 23, 24 range to grab a Brian Thomas or a Ladd McConkey or a Donnie Mitchell? Like trade T. Higgins for something like that, because the dude already asked to get out, and now you can get another stud wide receiver on a rookie deal. Was that something that you considered at some point?
No, I didn't. But like, let's say we did this again, and I was like, okay, the whole point of this is just to be as entertaining as possible. Like, I'd call up I'd call if some of the trades went through and New England is sitting there at 18. I'd be like, I'll trade you T. Higgins for the 18th pick straight. That's similar to what the Eagles did with AJ Brown a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think AJ Brown and T. Higgins are in the same quality class of wide receiver. I could see somebody in that range. Maybe, Pittsburgh just traded, who was it? Deontay Johnson to the Panthers. Maybe they're looking for a new, maybe they might be of course, that's an in-division rival, so like probably not. But like somebody in that range, I might say go ahead. We want your pick, a mid first round pick for this player. And then you're going to have to pay him, in the 20s. So, look at the love. That's so nice. Eat it up.
Won that draft.
I will say that if Adunzi wasn't there at 10, the Jets would have taken Brock Bowers.
Okay. Yeah, I was
I
was interested as to how this would go because you've got, at least 3 quarterbacks and then 3 wide receivers who are, I think teams will jockey for position to take some of them. And then you've got, there's a really good tackle, and like when does the first defensive player come off the board? And some of these questions get answered, and like it's fun having you guys here to like look at some of these preferences and say, we got a little bit more team specific knowledge in this one, and like the personalities are meshing a little bit and that kind of thing. And like, so Odunze ended up quote unquote falling, to 10, but like I think that's a good spot for him. So Garrett Wilson and Odunze, that's a nice pair.
So I'm curious
what is not Pat. Although they'll probably bench him and bring back freaking whoever. Randall Cobb.
Sure. The old faves. Yeah.
Let's
Do you
do
think
a round
there's
robin.
any chance that the Falcons would have jumped on Adunze at number 8?
So I did think about it, but my thought was the ball can only go so many places. And like, so I've watched Kirk Cousins play in Minnesota for years. Right. And so like he had Justin Jefferson and, this like for the last almost a year, he had TJ Hawkinson, that they actually played together at the same time on the field, and so I think that between Pitts and London, I think that he's going to have plenty of opportunities to throw the ball to 2 gigantic wide receivers. And then they have Algier and, of course, Bijan Robinson, who can also catch the ball out of the backfield. And I thought, you already made this $100 million guaranteed money investment in Kirk Cousins. You have a good line. That's you signed a couple other wide receivers to supplement the other guys. Like, let's go ahead and maybe burn the candle at both ends, and we'll just improve the defense just a little tiny bit more, and see if we can push to win the division this year and make the playoffs. So, but like, it's always fun to draft the sexy wide receiver, and so like, and he's good. I mean, like, I have no problem with Odunze. I think he's a fantastic player. I just didn't think that necessarily that was the best option for Atlanta. So, but I'm
kind of the same way I felt about the Bears taking him at 9. I don't think that they would.
Well, I mean, Keenan Allen has been in the league like 13 years, right? I mean, like, he's not going to be, if he plays with the Bears through Caleb Williams' entire rookie deal, I'd be shocked.
No, yeah.
So like, be a year ahead, like take a play out of Mike's book, right?
There's also a lot of depth, the wide receiver position later in the draft too for the Bears. Like,
yeah, you can find those diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're a year ahead, do you want to at 9? Do you want to spend a pick on a guy that's going to be on the bench?
Odunze?
I don't think he'd be on the bench.
No, I think he'd
I mean, he'd be a third, but
yeah, he'd be the third option. But like, I think that you trot him out there on that horrible field that they have, and been like, here, tear this up for 8 or 9 games at home, So, but I like how this turned out. I think this is pretty fun.
I think the Giants actually might move on from Daniel Jones. I think they are more ready to do so than they're letting on. But I just don't see a path for them to get get in that top 2 or 3 picks to do so. So it'd be interesting to see if they actually try to make a move to do it.
I've seen a lot of speculation that if the Vikings don't jump up, they'll take JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm really interested to see what they do. I mean, they've said that basically we're 50-50. Like, we'll do it if we really like a guy. But
that if the Vikings didn't go or the Giants didn't go quarterback, then I knew Bo Nix would be available whenever I wanted him.
Score.
Yeah, and I can't imagine the Vikings making the trades and getting the first round.
I heard Tom Brady made a whole career out of that.
It was the 6th round pick, not the 6th pick. So I mean, like,
we got like 7 first-round picks to make up for it.
It's true. Yeah, what was that trade again for that New England and
this year's first round, next year's first round, next year's second round, and Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think Gerard Mayo would be thrilled with Patrick Surtain, just being the guy that comes back. Coaches always love it when they get players that they like, right? So
if you had that secondary, that gives you a lot of flexibility on defense.
Yeah, I mean, and they've been trying to fix that for years. Like, oh, J.C. Jackson. Oh, we'll let J.C. Jackson go. Oh, we'll trade for J.C. Jackson back. Like, make up your mind. Also, he's terrible. So, I mean, like, this really solves that problem, you know?
I think
we were looking at like the Trey Lance deal, right? Essentially 3 1s. And I'm like, well, I don't have 3 1s to give, but Jalen Ramsey he was traded for a first round pick when the Rams acquired him. So I'm like, okay, well, what if one of those ones was Patrick Surtain, right? So then I kind of filled in the gaps there with the rest of that trade to move up and be able to do that.
Was there any trades? Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mike. I've talked a lot.
I was just going to say, was there a specific move that you thought, oh, that was a good, like, that was your favorite move in the first round?
Me?
All of you. We'll start with, no, you'll go last. Justin.
All right.
I mean, obviously, I like getting Patrick Surtain to New England. I thought that was brilliant.
Well orchestrated. Yeah. What about you, Brian?
I always prefer the moving back trades. So if I were Arizona, I would have been thrilled with that.
Yeah.
I like to gain value rather than concentrate value.
When you're throwing darts at the board, it's better to have more darts.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I mean, I'm not just saying this, but I like the Lions moving up to get the edge rusher too. Like, where were you at before? 29s or?
Yeah,
29.
Yeah, like I think that position is so much value, and to move up to get a guy like that or verse there, I think that's an awesome move. I mean, I don't feel like the Lions have other major needs, especially on offense. So get a guy that gets after the quarterback.
Yeah, it was going to be edge or cornerback, but he started falling, so I thought it was an opportunity.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, the fact that it was the Lions moving up might have influenced my decision.
What about you, Luke? Any trades that caught your eye?
I mean, for trades, I do really like that Cardinals one. Trades aside, I really like the pick for the Steelers, getting Powers Johnson, getting a center so you can really try out your 2 quarterbacks. I think that's going to be critical for them, get some more time for the pocket.
Yeah, what about you, Drew?
Caleb Williams to the Bears. That's so fucking easy for me. I mean, it's everyone knows he was going to be the number 1 overall pick for like 2 years, and it's just not messing up. Like I don't know that it's guaranteed that he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but like when you have a shot to take a guy who could be, and you take it, I think that that's the right play. And so, like, I think a lot of people here tonight made some really good picks for a lot of teams. And if the Bears in real life take Caleb Williams at 1, like we all expect them to, I think that is as solid a draft pick as you could hope for out of the first round. So,
Yeah.
Good job, Brian.
Now, I do think Brian moving up to 21 to take Latu is realistic. Like I've been saying ever since the Senior Bowl, when the Lions signed Terrell Williams to be their defensive line coach, and he coached at the Senior Bowl. And just the trust that Brad Holmes has in him from being his college coach and Dan Campbell's relationship with him, that there's a very good possibility that he fell in love with the edge rusher at the Senior Bowl that they will move up and go get.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Lions bring him in for a top 30 visit. They draft pretty heavily out of their top 30 visits.
No.
Hey,
So,
Joey,
Joey,
what's up, man? But like,
no,
I'll be
guys.
interested to see. I mean, like, of course, I was thrilled when they took Hutch, but like, if they get Latu, I will be almost as excited. I mean, pairing those two guys together, I think would be a home run. So, can't wait.
Were there any?
Love it.
Were there any trades that you guys were thinking about doing, and then just never put like you like? Oh, I wish I would have done that. So I'm kind of curious because there was one for me, and I'll go last. But like, Justin, were there any trades that you were like, I think I should do this, or I'd like to do this for this reason, but it just never. A guy fell, or a guy was taken before you could make the trade, or something like that.
Not really going up with the Patriots. Like I said, if I was going to take Bo Nix, I'd like to go down a little further. I think he'd have been available quite a bit later. But at that point, it already moved down twice. I don't think anybody wanted to play games with the Patriots anymore.
Right on. That makes sense. Brian, what about you?
I'd love to see Minnesota trade Jefferson. And I think if
I would too, as a Lions fan.
I think, and like I said earlier, we're kind of in a funky situation here where we don't draft for our jobs.
Right.
But if the Giants were offered Jefferson for anything reasonable or close to reasonable, I think they would probably jump on that. But we're not drafting for our jobs because we want to do what's best for the team, which is different than what you see out there.
Yeah.
Vikings want to trade
Mike,
for the 28 pick?
What's that?
Did the Vikings want to trade for the 28 pick?
No.
We'll give you next year's
Mike?
first rounder and 28 for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen would be all right with that.
Yeah.
Jesus. God, that'd be absurd, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Mike, what about you? Did you have any trades that you wished would have come true but couldn't?
No, I mean, I was just getting ready to trade up to get Latu or Verse if one of those two are going to go 2 picks ahead, just like get one of them.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to like go after one guy hard. We have 2 picks in the second round, and I think we really need those to fill in at corner and linebacker and offensive line depth. So I wasn't going to really reach for it, but I would have potentially got like a mid-rounder to jump 1 or 2 spots if I needed to.
Right on. What about you, Luke?
I mean, I honestly might have traded down as the Seahawks and just gotten some more second-round picks. I don't think there's anyone who's, I don't know. Latham's great, but I don't think they necessarily need someone in that O-line right now. There's more value later in the draft for them.
Yeah, and that was at that point, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, that he was the 5th tackle off the board.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
there's
you
still
traded-
yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say
that's
there's
right.
still more tackles later on, like Mims and Guyton, like they went pretty late as well. Yeah.
5, 6, 7. We had 8 tackles
8.
taken in the first round. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I don't
No,
think
I think you
Barton's going to
drafted
be
a
a
guard.
tackle. Like Fontenot might end up being a guard. So like, yeah, they got tackle next to their names, but I mean, I'm betting that not all of them are playing tackle when they suit up week 1 for their squads.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Puaga or Fatanu switch to guard.
Yeah.
I think Barton's going to switch to guard. He's kind of undersized to be a tackle.
And those that position versatility, on the interior, like, oh, I can be a tackle or a guard or maybe a center even in the case of Barton, like just adds so much, you can just, someone gets hurt, slide a guy over, maybe not lose as much. That's a big deal. So teams obviously want to have protection up the middle. So
were there any trades that you wanted to make, Drew, or that you wanted to see made but just couldn't because somebody was the guy that you were looking for was taken?
No, about the only thing that I was super bummed out about was when Newton came off the board at 29. That was my I'm just gonna draft this. I mean, like, there's no way that Miami's not taking an offensive lineman here. Newton's as good as mine. Oh no, we'll take Newton, you sons of bitches.
What?
So
Why
like,
would Miami take offensive linemen? They've got decent tackles.
yeah, but there's 5 players on the offensive. I don't know if you knew that, but like
There is, but
yeah.
their
So I
line's
mean, I thought
math
maybe
works.
but
That's how math works, right?
right.
got me.
Other than trades, no. I mean, I think that there were some pretty creative trades. Certainly didn't expect Surtain to get traded, right? So, but that happens.
I did want the Fashanu, Powers Johnson, Patanu, Latham, if any of those guys fell to Miami there.
Yeah.
But they were all gone. And that was just so much value sitting there, and they do need a defensive lineman as well.
The trade that I was going to try to do, but Luke ended up picking too quickly. I couldn't get to him in time. Like, don't! Was the 27th pick. Houston really wanted to move up for a cornerback, and ironically, that is actually Houston's pick that they were using. So, but yeah, I was going to try to trade up that 42 up into that 27 spot and take Kool-Aid, and then he took him. And I'm like, well, crap. There were not very many other like high end. He was like the last of the top corners off the board, so I was pretty bummed. But I needed to. I'm like, if I can't do that, I need to go up and get a top wide receiver. So I settled by overspending with Baltimore to move up to get Mitchell. But I was really hoping to move up to get Kool-Aid.
Yeah, if we didn't get Brian Thomas at 23, I could have. If you had traded up a little earlier, I would have been perfectly fine with AD and Kool-Aid, or not having Kool-Aid. Yeah, I think there was still some good value down there. Probably would have actually got Mims in front of the 49ers. Just beefed up the O-line just all the way.
I do think it's going to be really interesting, like, because we'll have this. Mike, will you save a copy of this somewhere, please?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like compare it to like what happens, later this month on draft night. So, and just see how close we are, because the fun thing about this is that you can guess, but you never know, right? And it's always a surprise, even when it's Jack Campbell. So,
what about Jahmyr Gibbs?
Now, so I was unhappy during draft night when that pick got made, but the one that really popped my balloon was the Jack Campbell pick, because I was like, the fuck is this? Like, and if you go back and watch our broadcast and you skip ahead to when that happens, you can just see me, like, I was just like, okay.
Just deflate.
Like, I'll just sit here and eat Mike's food and then eventually go home. Because
I don't remember if I was watching live or if I tuned in just to see your reaction after that trade, because I just could tell the look on your face without ever even doing it.
I think Danny described me as later, like Mike's kid, Danny. He and I were talking, and I think he was like, "Yeah, you were kind of like a grouchy little bitch for like the rest of the night." And I was like, "Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Like, I'll own that one. It was kind of a bummer." So.
I will say this. After the picks, I was extremely upset for about 2 hours. And then I was like, you know what? I've been saying all year that I don't care who they draft. I trust Brad Holmes. He's hit time and time again. And then just because I didn't like the picks, I need to shut the fuck up and see what happens. And
Yeah, it's not a strength of mine. So
That's true.
Listen, I've
Danny
ruined
says,
so
"Don't think I
many-
said it that harshly."
yeah, it's real close. That's how I remember it. And
I've
now it's
ruined
out there
so
on the
many
internet,
nights
Danny,
on
so it's
Lions
true.
draft night.
Yeah.
We were in Punta Cana when we drafted Eric Ebron, and I think I just went back to the hotel room and went to bed. Just disgusted.
Were you looking to like, hey, we could take Aaron Donald here, or was that more of a later thing?
I mean, I did not think Aaron Donald was going to be Aaron Donald at that time. I forget
Yeah.
exactly who I wanted, but it definitely wasn't Eric Ebron.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I was disappointed with both Gibbs and Campbell for similar reasons. But I think it was like, for me, it wasn't as much about the value as much as it was like, we have DeAndre Swift. We have the guy that you're drafting right now. Now, granted, he's been hurt. You don't know what's going to happen there, but that was why I was disappointed with Gibbs, was because I was like, we already have this guy on our team.
To
And
be
he goes
fair,
to
they were a year ahead,
Philly.
though. Like Drew's been saying all night. Because Swift's not
Okay.
in Philly
Well,
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that also speaks to Mike's point, though. Like, and Mike, you feel free to chime in on this one. Like,
Yeah.
he had a decent year in Philly, at least the way that I saw it. And like, he just got
Yeah,
$8 million from
absolutely.
a year for 3 years from the Bears. Like, I mean, whether or not those are all mistakes is starting to add up as like, I don't know that DeAndre Swift was that bad,
I don't
and
know that
so
he was
like,
that bad.
but like it felt my issue with Gibbs was it felt redundant at the time, right? And then even if you took
Especially if we
Swift
signed
out of the
Montgomery.
conversation, you still had Montgomery that
Yeah.
you had just committed to.
Yeah,
So
and
I was like, I
was
don't get it.
curious at the moment.
Yeah.
So I
So,
was
but,
like, he's got to
he
play in.
played
And it
well.
worked out okay.
Yeah, he played well. I'm not gonna. I mean,
And
you changed my opinion.
Success heals those wounds, right? So when he comes in and plays as well as he did, and played well enough to be nominated for Offensive Rookie of the Year, not that he was even close to getting it, but like just being one of those 4 finalists or 5 finalists, like you justified, yeah, okay, this was a good pick.
Well, to be fair, he doesn't play quarterback, so.
Well, for sure, but like he wasn't going to get past Puka Nacua either.
Right,
Like,
but
so
I'm just saying, like, obviously Bryce Young's going to win as well as he played in being quarterback. That kind of makes the award silly.
Yeah, and you have to look at that draft, though, and say it had to fall that way, because if they pick somebody different at 12, or they picked somebody different when they had 6 or 19 even, the butterfly effect might say that they don't end up with Laporta and Branch at those later picks because of the change that would happen to the drafts.
So who else was
Yeah.
drafted around Gibbs? Van Ness, Broderick Jones, Will McDonald,
Christian Gonzalez
Emmanuel
was on the
Forbes.
board,
He was 17 right before Jack Campbell.
right? So he was available at 12.
That is who I wanted at 12.
I think that's who we
That's
were
actually
hoping
who I
for
wanted
too,
at
wasn't it,
6.
Drew?
I
Hey,
wanted him at 6.
Mike Whartonby. Remind me of something. Was Jalen Carter like a real fuck up in Philadelphia his rookie season, like throwing
Last
shit
year?
in the locker room,
or was he good?
or was he like fighting with players and just being a real bitch, or like was he a good teammate?
No, he was a good boy. Yeah,
Interesting,
he was a
interesting,
very good boy.
interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, he seems kind of like quiet off the field from what I've
Oh,
heard.
so odd, so odd.
Yeah,
Justin's like, you son of a bitch.
I will never
Hey.
let go of that.
If you remember the 2023 mock draft for Building the Pride, the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions selected Jalen Carter with the 6th pick.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So
Yeah, but that was the potential knock on him was, a
we were able to look
Uh,
past it last year. We did our
yeah.
due diligence and thought that the production would outweigh it.
Didn't they end up with Gibbs and Laporta because of that trade?
Yeah, I was just
They
saying that I didn't make the trade. I took Carter.
Right. And like, but the butterfly effect also, Brian, would work in the other way. Like, we know what the season with Laporta and Gibbs looked like, but we don't know what it would look like with Jalen Carter. Like, it's entirely possible that
Well, I can tell you this: our defense
it was
was never
better.
trash.
Yeah, I mean, and that was my
well,
concern.
So it's not just that. It would have been Jalen Carter and DeAndre Swift, who had a just as good, if not better, statistical season than Gibbs. So Carter and Swift, or Gibbs and Laporta, I don't know. We don't know. Like, what would that have been? And that's not to say that we couldn't trade up to get Laporta. Not that we necessarily would, but yeah, there's a lot of butterfly effect type of things.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why we do all this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hit on 3 of 4. We can't beat that.
No, I'm happy with it. I think Jack Campbell's going to be good. I really do.
I hope so. Like, I mean, as a Lions fan, I don't want to be like, oh, he was bad and I was right. I would be like, I want him to be good and me be wrong, right? I would much rather be wrong if we win.
Barnes was a lot more of a project than Campbell, obviously, taken a lot later. But it took him quite a few years, and he's the reason Jack Campbell didn't see the field last year, because he played great. I mean, he's seen the field, but obviously not so much.
Campbell outsnapped him by a long ways. But he's why Rodrigo didn't see the field.
Yeah.
Campbell outsnapped Barnes?
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I think, okay.
Didn't Campbell at least do well against the run on the PFF grades?
Let's not. I'll do the snap counts, but I don't want to dive into fucking Jack Campbell. So, like, I do have a question for Luke, though. What?
Did Barnes miss time last year?
I don't think
someone was hurt. Was it Anzo?
He missed a couple of games.
Okay. I knew one of our linebackers got hurt.
Yeah. What is this? I'll figure this out. I do
Campbell
have a question for
75.8 grade on run defense. He was 52.1 overall.
He was 57.3.
So he had a total snap count last year of 637. And then I'll go and I'll check in on our buddy Barnes.
Oh, I'm probably looking at the including playoffs probably.
So I do have a question for Luke. I mean, if let's say the Cardinals do trade out of 4 and they get a package. Barnes did play 700 snaps. I don't know how many of those are considered to be on special teams, but yeah, they're right around the same snap counts. Luke, if the Cardinals if they trade out of 4 and they pick up something close to this, how many years away do you think they are from challenging for the division?
Our defense is just, I mean, it depends how round 2 and 3 pan out. Our defense just has so many holes. 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
I will say the division is trending down, though. I think the Rams, we'll see what happens there. It's such a hodgepodge. I mean, Donald's gone. We'll see what they do in the draft. I would say the Niners maybe have one more good year to challenge for a Super Bowl. Once they lose Ayuk, it's going to be tricky.
Ooh, we haven't talked about that.
That's going to be hard. 2-3 years, but it's just our defense. I would also like the Cards to trade even further down, maybe from 4 and to like maybe with the Pats or the Jags, and then reach a little bit for Latu and get an edge rusher.
Okay. There's no way that Ayuk's getting traded, right?
He's got one more year on his deal.
The scuttlebutt is that he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know if I am quite there, maybe. But like,
close.
Let's say he was the 10th best wide receiver in the NFL. If you're the 49ers and he's unhappy, are you trading him? And like, you got to get back something better than a mid first round pick.
I think it depends if you plan on keeping him. because they obviously aren't going to be able to sign all their offensive weapons or defensive.
Yeah.
So if you're
I'd
going to
be
end up letting
scared
him
if I
walk,
were them to just have Samuel because he gets dinged quite a bit.
I think
Yeah,
I
so
would keep Ayuk over Sam.
Yeah, so yeah, so if that's the case and you want to make a commitment to Ayuk, would you trade Debo?
Yeah. You got to trade some of them, I think. I don't think you can just let them all walk in free agency without getting anything.
Yeah.
I think they're
Probably
running
get a
back
comp
for a
pick.
year.
I don't think
They
a
would
comp
end up
pick's
with
worth-
like a
Yeah, I don't think
rounder.
Debo Samuel or Ayuk are
Yeah.
only worth a comp pick.
This is Debo's last year on his rookie deal. He's going to make $14 million.
I think Ayuk's making 12 this year.
He's making
He's got
14.
one more year.
Yeah.
Ayuk or Debo?
I think Ayuk's making 12. Debo's making 14.
So Ayuk is making 14,
Okay.
and Debo, his cap hit is 28.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And then Debo he is under contract for 2025 at 24 million, but no guaranteed money. And then he's got 2 void years on his deal after that. So you're paying 42 million between these two guys in 2024.
It's a lot.
And like I don't know. Like, here's another question. And I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but do you give Brock Purdy a second deal?
I was gonna say, you got to pay their quarterback.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, I
like,
think you do.
right? Because he's just
He
not
doesn't
been
get a
bad
fifth
enough
year.
to say no.
Yeah.
Right?
How much?
So-
is
And he's
Purdy
going to want
get?
a bunch of money too because of the success the team has, not necessarily because of how good he is, right?
I think he's going to want top quarterback money.
Yeah. Like reset the market money, even because the team has been successful, not
He's going to
necessarily
want a
because
lot
he's
more than
better than
Jared
Pat.
Goff. Let's put it that way.
So the thing that Brock Purdy seems to be good at is like whatever EPA per play is, he is going away the top quarterback in the NFL.
Do you know what he's good at?
I have no idea.
The same stuff Bo Nix is.
There it is. Bo Nix, future Brock Purdy. Like, I can't make up the shirts right now.
I really don't like Bo Nix that much, to be honest. But
I
he
can
does
tell.
seem like a good fit for the
Yeah.
Patriots.
But
I have a buddy who's a big
I heard a
Bo Nix
Bo
fan.
Nix stat this year, and I couldn't believe it. A third of his passes this last season were behind the line.
I believe it. They got the ball out
Insane.
really fast in Oregon. He led the college football in time to throw by a lot.
Well, that I think does have value to it, because if you look at guys like Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, like this new generation of quarterbacks who want to, break containment, make plays outside of structure, they hold the ball forever.
That is why I don't like Caleb Williams. Everybody talks about the pink phone cases and all that stuff, but my biggest fear with Caleb Williams is his time to throw is terrible.
Yeah, it was like 6.5 last year.
Yeah, he's going to get absolutely screwed if he tries to do that in the NFL.
So
Is that because he can't read the defenses very well, or just because the offense that they
USC
run
was
is
straight up trash outside of Caleb Williams? So
Yeah.
like,
he didn't
I
have a
think-
choice. He had to scramble for his life.
yeah, I think that he is going into a situation that's pretty well structured for him to be successful. I mean, you have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, you have the 9th pick to support him, however that's going to be, right? Whether it's a defensive player, whether it's an offense, who knows? Like, maybe they take another offensive lineman, maybe they take Odunze. I don't know. But like, if you should be using that pick to somehow support Caleb Williams. And I think that Chicago, as much as I dislike the franchise, like, I just don't think that they're being run poorly, and like,
Didn't they have like lawn tractors and stuff stolen out of their
$100,000 worth of that stuff was stolen.
Let's not forget the whole FBI raid.
Yeah. It's not great, but like, as far as the football team is concerned, like, I think they're making good decisions, so like, I would prefer Caleb Williams go to Chicago more so than Denver or Washington or New England.
I mean, we don't know what Washington is right now.
would you, if you just glance at their team on a piece of paper, would you say that Chicago or Washington is better?
Chicago.
Who's on?
I think it's easy.
Who in the front office or coaching staff or all of that from last year is going to be around this year in Washington?
I have
nobody.
no idea.
Everything's
just the head
new. That's
coach,
what I
right?
mean.
I mean, but it might be. I mean, but like, you know,
It could be
great.
terrible, or it could be good. That's
Right.
It's just
We don't know.
complete unknown to me.
So I'm willing to bet. You know, and at least in Chicago, you know, the coaching staff has been there for a year. You know, and like they've at least set the groundwork for stuff. But like, I don't know. I think that Caleb Williams, I think if he can learn to be a little bit patient, hit the underneath stuff, not play hero ball, he'll be a really good quarterback in the NFL. So,
can you learn when to quit on a play?
Yeah.
Can you be smarter than Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's one of the questions.
I mean, I don't know that people remember, like, Josh Allen was straight up trash for like 2 years. And then
absolutely
out of, like, he started his third season and he was just, okay, now I'm just one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he stayed there.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, he was out there on the field playing, you know, and he just wasn't any good. Now I'm amazing. You know, and
you
like,
give any of that credit to Dable?
Yeah.
You got to.
I don't know why he hasn't been able to do that where he's at.
because Daniel Jones is not Josh Allen.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, like,
well, when did Diggs go to the Bills? Like,
Diggs
how
went to the
does
Bills.
that correlate with Allen's success?
So whatever year Justin Jefferson got drafted, I believe is the year that Diggs went to the Bills, because the pick was the 17th pick, I believe, was the Bills pick, and they included it in the package to Minnesota for Stephon.
2020.
Yeah.
So
it's like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like a year before he took off.
You know, but the Bills made a smart decision, right? Like,
I think that was the year he took off, because he went from 2,000 yards to 3,000. Then Stephon Diggs showed up and it was 4,500.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a 107 QBR.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, like, I think what you saw was, and like, I think this is kind of the opposite of what the Bears are doing, is that, like, Buffalo went and got their guy, right, Josh Allen, and then they went out and got people to support him. And I think that, like, teams like Detroit built the roster first, you know, and I think that, like, Chicago is doing the same thing. Like, they have multiple years of investing in the team, both through free agency and the draft, and it's a better foundation for a rookie quarterback to step into, you know, than, say, Denver, which I mean, if this happens and Drake May goes to Denver, I will just be so sad for Drake May.
Another guy with a quick time to throw.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy's wasn't bad either. I think those were the top 3 amongst the top quarterback prospects.
You know, I think that of all these guys, JJ is the one that needs to sit on the bench, go through the program, mature a little bit before he sees the field. Like, if it's like Sam Darnold for 6 games and then you're going to put McCarthy out there, I think that's about the worst thing that you could do if you were the Vikings. I would just eat this season, pay Justin Jefferson, have another high pick.
Be good.
So, what's that?
I just don't think he's going to be good. Period.
Oh, I know you don't. I do. But the conditions have to be correct.
Quarterbacks. What's the success rate of first round quarterbacks? Like 38%, 40%.
It's not high.
There's just too many. You know.
It goes way down if you take out the number 1 picks too.
Imagine.
You know, so
yeah. So it's not looking good for Jaden, Drake, or JJ, huh?
I mean, but, like, you know, bad teams are usually the ones drafting quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I think Chicago's in such a good spot. Oh, no.
Earlier, you were talking about Washington, what they're going to be this year. Now, how would you have thought about Houston this year? in the
Yeah,
2023 draft.
I mean, I would have thought, oh, okay, you're putting. Oh, we lost Mike.
Yep, he had to bounce.
Well, we should have said thank
So,
you. Oh, we did.
Thanks, Mike, for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
It was.
And if anybody has to need to bounce, just let us know. We'll
but don't do
say
it.
thank you to you guys as well. Otherwise, stay in chat as long as you want.
I've got 20 minutes before my battery dies.
There it is. What's the timer? What was your question, Justin?
Talking about how Washington, with the unknowns,
Sure.
how would you have thought Houston was going to be going into last season?
I would have
all the
thought
unknowns there
Houston
as
would have
well.
been picking in the top 10, maybe the top 5 again. Like, you don't expect rookie quarterbacks to play as
Rookie
well as
coaches
CJ
and
Stroud
staff
played.
all around.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
the
if you look-
Cardinals were supposed to have that pick, or we have that pick, right? We were supposed to get Caleb and Marvin Harrison and be absolutely laughing.
1 and 2 next year, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So,
that would have been great.
Yeah.
Historic, even.
And then meanwhile, Carolina, who threw in everything on Bryce Young, is sitting here like, I don't know what to do now.
I mean, like, can you think of a worse situation for any quarterback in the entire NFL than what Bryce Young has in Carolina?
I can't think of a worse situation for any player in the NFL than playing for the Carolina Panthers right now.
I mean, their owner's insane.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good.
I
We're
think
not
that's why Ben
doctors,
Johnson wants
but-
nothing to do with it. Like,
We're not doctors. Thanks.
Yeah. So like one of the things that kind of reminds me of like the 0-16 season that we had that Stafford kind of came into. That's kind of what they weren't 0-16, but that's what I kind of feel like Carolina is in that same shit show type of
so much worse.
situation.
Detroit
You think it
Lions
was
are the best.
worse?
I think Carolina is so much worse.
I don't know. I thought that 0-16 team was still on its way down.
That's the best 0-16 team in NFL history.
I don't care. I mean,
They
It
would eat
was-
the Browns.
it was horrible to watch, and like if some other team wants to replicate that failure, I mean, that's fine.
Well, I think a big part of that was Marinelli, and he was out. Schwartz was in. There was still a lot of talent on that roster.
Yeah.
It was just kind of
Was there?
hodgepodge around. Yeah, this guy named Calvin Johnson.
They had Calvin Johnson, and that was it. That was the entirety of the talent on the roster.
Oh my god.
It'll-
So it's all done now, guys. You can put it to rest. Like Bob Quinn's not the GM, Matt Patricia's not the coach.
Bob
Matt
Quinn had
Miller-
nothing to do with 0-16. That was
Yeah.
I don't
all
care.
Matt Millen.
all the
Matt
terrible
Millen.
things in the Lions past are in the past. I mean,
That's not
Luke's
terrible. That's how we got Matthew
Luke's an Arizona
Stafford,
Cardinals
greatest
fan. He knows
quarterback
a
of
little
all
bit about
time.
being terrible, right, Luke?
hey, it's a rough life. I'm not
Yeah.
just going to say just being a Cardinals fan, but Suns, D-backs, everything across the board.
Hey, let me
it's
ask you
really
about
hard.
that.
Really
Were
hard.
I can understand like being excited about trading for Kevin Durant, but when you guys traded for Bradley Beal, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
I would have loved a true point guard. I don't know
Yeah.
what we were doing.
I liked your team
Yeah.
better before the Beal trade.
Yeah, me too. I say keep Chris Paul, and I don't know
Yeah.
how we'd figure out the salary cap, but yeah.
There's always
Not to
Worst could
digress,
be
but
Pistons.
yeah, being an Arizona fan, I feel you guys. It's really hard.
And for all that stuff that we've said, Detroit, Arizona, these other terrible teams that have been bad for so long, like we're all not Cleveland. Their fucking team nickname was the Factory of Sadness. I mean, like, that's just the worst nickname any sports franchise could ever possibly have.
Before
So-
the Stafford draft, we could have gave him a run with the quarterback jersey.
That's true.
We were floundering with all those first round quarterbacks.
Joey Harrington.
Yes. Joey Harrington is the reason I don't like first round quarterbacks. I'm still traumatized. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
I think that also shows the situation you go in needs to be okay. Like I think if he gets drafted by, like if he, I don't know what year he was, but like if he did a Aaron Rodgers thing where he got drafted later to a team like Green Bay, I think he would have been fine. He would have had
See you later, Luke.
Stability. Oh, see you, Luke.
Sorry,
Bye,
guys.
Luke.
Got to run.
Appreciate you.
Super
Thanks
fun.
for coming
Thanks,
in.
y'all.
Yep.
Do it again soon.
I think if he goes to a team like the Packers, like Aaron Rodgers did, and you're just like you're an NFC Championship team, and you just get to inherit that. I'm not saying he wins Super Bowls or Super Bowl because Aaron Rodgers only won the one, but like I think he would be far more successful, and he would have had a career that lasted longer than the 4 years or whatever he was bouncing around between Miami and us and whoever he was backing up after that. But situation is super important.
Drew hate me more. I couldn't agree with that situation anymore. Like, I think the situation a quarterback goes into has far more of an impact on their career than the actual ability of the player.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you could
Tom Brady.
You could
I think
read
if Tom
a book.
Brady's drafted by 31 other teams, he never gets the chance to develop and be Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Coaching.
And like
Yeah,
if you look at successful teams,
consistency, coaching.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, I just think there's nothing more important to a quarterback in the NFL.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So like when I am advocating that teams like start over or get a new quarterback, like go and get a new coach, go and get a new GM, bring them all in at the same time and have that be the squad.
Yeah.
Because unless you want to do the same thing with like the Lions that was Stafford, where he had like how many head coaches, how many offensive coordinators, and like everything was different every year.
I don't think he had an offensive coordinator 3 years in a row for his entire career.
Yeah. So the situation matters.
Bob Cooter.
Right? So I think that like when I look at somebody like Drake May in our draft going to the Broncos, I'm like, is this a draft where people are like, because like I think Justin Fields got drafted to save Ryan Pace's job. Yeah. And it's like when you do that, you're already fired. And it's just it's a matter of losing the games and haven't given the owner an excuse to say, okay, yep, now we're going to do it. And then the next guy comes in. He didn't draft Justin Fields. Right? So now, and then like gave him 2 years, and then now you're out of town for nothing. And now, luckily, they got the resources necessary to fall. Like, and they got the number 1 pick 2 years in a row, basically. And it's like, oh, one of those years, a really good prospect at quarterback fell into our laps. That's awesome. It could easily be like, oh, like last year there was just nobody.
No.
So,
to bring that back
2
to
years
the
ago,
Lions,
2 years ago.
I don't love Hendon Hooker.
Sure.
Like I've never loved that pick, but the situation, like if we bring him in and he sits here for a few years and we re-sign Goff and he just develops for 4 years like Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers, I think that could be a huge hit for the Lions down the road just by giving the quarterback that much time to develop.
Well, even like Drew or
he'll be 30 by the time he sees the field. So.
You're not wrong. What is he, 2 years younger than Goff? So he'd be the same age as Bo Nix as a rookie?
Yeah. I believe that Hendon Hooker currently is 26. I don't know how old Jared Goff is, but
he is
20. We are coming.
20.
So we are.
What's Goff, 28?
I think he's 30. He is 29. He'll be 30 in October, so he'll be 30 this year. But yeah, I think Hendon Hooker, kind of coming back to that situation.
When did
scenario,
quarterbacks get so old?
What's that?
So when did quarterbacks start getting so old?
COVID. When you got like 7 years to play college football.
Because you look back at like Stafford and Goff, those guys were 19 years old.
Right.
Yeah. But like the Brady situation, right? He came in, he got to sit there and develop for a little bit. It wasn't like a full year or multiple years, but he got to sit there behind Drew
Bledsoe.
Yep, I was gonna say Stanton, and I knew that wasn't right. But yeah, he got so like Bledsoe goes down, he comes in, right? So I think if Goff goes down and Hooker comes in, he could have that same kind of like, I've got a championship quality team around me. you just need to be competent, and you can win 12 games with the team that we've got, right?
I'm not sure about that, just because the way that Patriots team was built was all around the defense, where our team is built all around the offense. So if he does make a rookie mistake and throw one extra pick or something like that, that's a difference in a game. Whereas that New England defense was just unbelievable. All he had to do was not throw 3 picks, and they were going to win.
Right. Which
like, what was the Super Bowl
starting
stat
quarterback
line? Like
did a
one
couple times
touchdown
last year.
1 touchdown, 2 picks, and 100 yards. Like, that defense was just unbelievable. And the staff was obviously really good.
Yeah. But I think that, like, there wasn't anything, and I'm not saying this to, like, bash Goff. He played fantastic. Like, that was the best year of his career. With Latu to wrap for 14-3. I'd love to see that. But, like, I think that Goff didn't do anything spectacular last year. He didn't make beautiful downfield bomb plays. He didn't do it. And he didn't, I mean, he reduced his turnover count, which helped a lot. But he was still kind of middle of pack turnover wise. He made fewer mistakes than he did last year, but he didn't do anything special. So I think almost any competent to good quarterback could have come in and done the same thing with us. And that gives me hope that if he does go down, Hooker, being hopefully competent and at least decent, can, like, keep up and not do the Peyton Manning went down and we win 2 games the entire season kind of thing, right? He's going to come in and he'll win 10, 12 games with us. May not be 14, right? Because there's going to be some rookie mistakes, but I think he could come in and win 10, 12 games for us.
You would like
if Hendon Hooker comes in and wins 10 games with the Detroit Lions, it's because Goff won 8 of them up until that point.
Yeah.
You have that little faith that he can't do just the bare minimum that Goff did?
Jared Goff
it's not just the bare minimum.
Has been a starter in the NFL for 8
a decade.
Yeah. Like, and as much as I don't think that he is the level of quarterback that you need to win a Super Bowl, I think that, like, the gap between him and, like, a second-year quarterback that has to come in at whatever point and play in his first NFL action is a gulf that no one could jump on a motorcycle. Like, it is too big. It is the Grand Canyon of chasms.
It's like the Brian Scalabrine argument. I'm a lot closer to LeBron than you'll ever be to me.
Exactly. And, like, do I think, first of all, I don't think the playbook would be what Jared Goff has. It would be some dumbed down version. It's going to be heavy run, a lot of play action, stuff that he's already comfortable with. Like, the idea.
You're talking about Goff or Hooker? Because that's what that's what our playbook is right now.
Yes,
a lot of play action, a lot of run.
He hasn't taken any NFL snaps.
I know. I'm just saying that's no different than what we're doing now. We're not dumbing down that playbook. It's the same playbook.
But Jared Goff is the one that, like, goes out there and makes that playbook a reality.
Sure. I get that.
And, like, Hendon Hooker has never seen what Jared Goff has had to see and played in. And, like,
you can his learning curve, Jared Goff's physical talent, his arm talent, his mobility, all that, and I can't argue with you. But his mental ability to play the quarterback position in the NFL is far superior to that of basically a rookie in Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, like, if the Lions come in, it's because they basically, like, don't allow Hendon Hooker to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So, like,
although you do have, like, the 2011 New England Patriots when Brady tore his ACL?
And Castle came in and won 11 games.
Castle and Jacoby Brissett combined for 11 games.
Sure. And if you want to go out and sign some journeyman.
Well, I don't think we have the defense they had to bring that up.
Sure.
Unless these improvements we've made make a big difference from last year.
I don't think
it's unlikely.
We have a better offense than they had.
We have a better offense with Jared Goff.
Right.
We have a better offense total outside of the quarterback position.
Right, but we don't have the defense, which is what was winning those games. But we had to win games with our offense this year.
I like that you guys are hopeful that Hendon Hooker can come in and win games.
I hope he doesn't have to.
Sure.
I don't agree with Mike.
I hope he doesn't have to.
So,
because I think our best chance of winning with the roster we have right now is with Goff.
Right.
You think maybe?
So, no, I'm just saying. Like, I hope he doesn't have to come in. Like, I don't want Goff to get hurt and have Hendon Hooker come in because I think our best chance is with Goff.
Right.
Now, if I got to replace him with any quarterback I wanted, he is far down the list of what I would take, but he's what we've got, and he is better than Hendon Hooker, and he
So-
gives us a better chance to win.
Outside of salary, how far down that list is he realistically?
I was going to ask that same question.
Because it's not that far.
10 to 12? 10, probably?
I don't think you can name 11 quarterbacks better than Jared Goff.
We could try.
You could try, but I don't think you can.
I would say
Unless you're going to
10.
argue
So-
that there's exact side grades, which are the exact same quarterback, in my opinion.
Burrow, Herbert, Lamar Jackson.
Stroud.
Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, CJ Stroud.
Is CJ Stroud a
Um,
better quarterback than Jared Goff?
I think probably.
If you
I
put
think
CJ
in
Stroud
theory
on
will
the
be.
Lions,
It's so hard with rookies.
sure.
'Cause
Yeah.
Rookies and second-year quarterbacks tend to do better before the NFL gets the film on them. And then that third year is kind of the make or break year, in my opinion.
I
When
would
the NFL
put
either
Goff.
adapts to them or they break out.
I would put Goff around 10, but like
But
I don't know that I
So
would put him at 8.
Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Stafford. I'm not going in any particular order. Burrow, Justin Herbert.
Aaron
Those are the
Rodgers.
ones that I think are a full step, like an easy
Aaron
no-brainer ahead of him.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers probably still, much as I hate it.
Where would you put
Um,
Tua, after or before? He would be close.
I'd put him after.
Just
I think like I would put Kirk Cousins before, but I think they're not at a different tier. Like Kirk Cousins, I think is this about the same as Jared Goff, is about the same as Tua, is about the same as Dak. Although Dak played really, really well last year. Like I would consider those the same band. Like Justin was
I agree
saying,
with that.
they're not necessarily better than, they're about the same as. So if you wanted to like really nitpick and say you have to put them in order, I'd probably put Kirk Cousins ahead of Jared Goff. I'd probably put Dak ahead of Jared Goff, but I would probably put Tua behind Jared Goff.
You didn't
but-
mention Josh Allen. Would he be before or after?
Yeah, Josh.
Oh
Allen.
no, I did. Yeah, Josh Allen was in that group with
Okay.
Mahomes and Jackson. The real question for me is like, where do I put Hurts? I think I put Hurts in front of him, but I actually think he's in that same band.
I don't know. I've heard way too many NFL players just trash Jalen Hurts for me to buy into him. Defenders
should
who
ask
just say he
Mike.
can't read a defense.
Oh,
Brian's battery died.
yeah, Brian's battery died. Thanks, Brian. See ya.
Love you, buddy.
But yeah, he had a great
Plug
year
that. You
year
should
before
plug that
last.
in. You were right next to a wall with an outlet.
Do you
I'll
put
just
Brock
remove
Purdy
him.
ahead of Jared Goff?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I
He's
don't think
more-
I think he's in the same band.
He can do more physically than.
He can run 6 yards instead of 2.
I mean, like. Well, I mean, I think I saw.
You saw
Jared
what
Goff
happened.
run twice all season.
You saw what happened when teams made Brock Purdy throw the ball.
Sure. I mean, and like, I mean,
And
I
Jared
think
Goff
that-
threw the ball 50 times and we won a playoff game.
hey, Rumble.
What's up, Rumble?
Yeah. I mean, I think
I don't
that
think there's a lot of
Brock
quarterbacks.
Purdy is good in the way that Jared Goff is good, is that they don't make a ton of mistakes. They're not asked to do a lot. That's who's your QB? Goff?
Yeah. QB1.
Stop it.
Hey,
Well, he is our
honestly,
QB1.
Ever since, listen, we as a city and a fandom of Detroit Lions, we bought Jared Goff the night of the Rams game. It was electrifying, and since that moment, he is my QB1. I will no longer trash Jared Goff.
And I'm not trashing. I'm not trying to trash him. I'm just trying to be like,
It
all right,
was really
well,
cool though. the first time
Is
they
Jared
started those
Goff better
Jared
than
Goff
Patrick
chants
Mahomes?
was
Oh,
crazy.
sure. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I love the fact that we rallied around our guy, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
4
No,
years
he's not better than
upcoming.
Oh, jeez.
No, but
Four
and
was
that's where
fine,
I'm
man.
like, by
100%.
saying like, oh, he's not as good as Mahomes or not as good as Allen or not, and you start like, all right, well, if he's not as good as
And
this,
Drew
that,
wants
yeah.
someone who can throw the ball at an elite level and also mobile. And it's like there's like 2 guys out of 9 billion people who can do that right now. I
Right.
would love to have one of them too.
So like, but that's
I
just
can't
the
argue
thing.
with
Like,
that.
you better be happy with like getting to the NFC Championship game or maybe winning the NFC Championship game, because
I mean, we lost
the two
to a
guys
team.
that are like really good at those two things are winning titles.
So we lost to a team with the same quarterback.
Who
Josh
then
Allen
lost
did not
to-
do anything.
I mean, but like, are you? I mean, I would take
And
if
then-
someone said you can have Josh Allen and put him on the Lions. We'll trade you straight up for Jared Goff. I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay,
It's a no-brainer. I'm
Right.
just saying, like, it's hard to get those guys. They're not
sure,
a lot out there.
right.
And then
I don't think that
the
means
only
you-
team San Francisco should have beat in the playoffs was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I mean, like should have. I think should is an interesting.
Obviously,
word
I'm
when it
just
comes
saying,
to
like, the only
professional
game
sports.
where you watch that game and you're like, they outplayed them would have been the Super Bowl.
I don't think that
Uh,
Purdy could take the Lions to the Super Bowl, no. But I also don't
Yeah.
think that Jared Goff is going to either.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
I
could've.
think he
had
could have
that in the
taken.
bag.
I think he could have taken the Lions
Goff did
team
nothing
to
to
the
lose us that
NFC
game.
Championship. No, he
win
didn't.
it
He was
either,
not
though.
our.
That's the point.
How did he not? I mean, we put up 30 in the first half.
And
He
none in the
hit
second.
all those passes
Sure.
to open receivers who just decided not to catch them.
Well, I mean, like, I think that is. I mean, I also remember him rolling out and throwing the ball like 3 yards in front of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
On
So, I
fourth
mean,
down,
like,
when it was
is it
critical.
did Josh
What
Reynolds
happened there?
drop a bunch of passes? Yeah.
So there was something
Like-
that happened. I forget what it was. Somebody broke it down.
It was
Yeah.
a fourth down, fourth and
No,
two.
no, no. I think it was Fred Warner did something to totally disrupt the play.
Yeah, he made him
Yes.
run and throw on the run. That is disrupting the. He doesn't do that. I mean, he can.
No,
He
I mean,
does
he
well
throw-
on the play action, but he doesn't
He
throw
can
on
throw
the
on
run.
a
He doesn't have the
jog.
arm strength. The jog. He does have
Not on the
slightly more mobility than Scott Mitchell, but not a lot.
I mean, you and I both love Stafford, and it's not like he's running anywhere either.
No, but Stafford has more mobility than Goff does, and that's saying something because Stafford
I know.
is not a mobile dude.
You know,
Peyton
if
Manning
you,
didn't
you want
either.
to talk about Matthew Stafford, like, okay, maybe he's not as mobile, but his arm is a fucking cannon.
Oh, I'm.
Yeah, and he's
Listen, I've
accurate as
told
hell,
Mike
and he
this.
reads defenses.
I've told Mike this, and you'll probably just murder me for it. But if I had to pick a quarterback for my team out of anyone in history, like who I want to watch play football and who I want to root for, I'm taking Stafford over Manning. Just
He
because I
was-
love to watch him play football. Like, he's the guy that's going to play with a broken back. He's the guy, like, just everything about him as a fan, you just love it.
And
It's
he's good.
fun. Yeah, and he's really good. Do I think Peyton Manning's the best quarterback ever? Yes. I don't think Matthew Stafford is the best. Just
No.
was the most fun guy to root for.
I'm glad I
Scott Mitchell.
made you chuckle, Rumble. Yeah,
Scott Mitchell's sick of here, and he's the reason Barry didn't win a Super Bowl.
yeah. Well, I don't care what Scott Mitchell thinks. He was the reason Barry didn't win a Super Bowl.
That's funny.
Actually,
How'd
I
you
think
guys-
coaching was a big piece of what that was.
But Barry loved Wayne Fonts.
Yeah,
How'd you guys feel
and
about
every
Joe
year he
Montana?
worked really hard to make the playoffs, so he didn't get fired.
How'd you guys feel about Joe Montana wanting to come to the Lions and Detroit saying no, thanks?
No, you're too old. Yeah, they thought he was washed up, and then he went to Kansas City and proved it. So
But,
I don't think he would have done any better with us.
had a good team. You think he would have been better than Scott Mitchell?
I mean, Scott Mitchell just came off a 4,000 plus yard season when that wasn't the norm. Like, Scott Mitchell played really well.
I turned the lines back on.
Oh. So
I don't care what didn't happen 30 years ago.
Fair.
Yeah.
Drew's only wants to look at who we can draft in 2025 now.
It's pretty much, I mean,
Hey, We still have 2024 draft happening.
It's true.
I got to make sure Brian's going to come over and we can do the thing.
What do we think the Lions are going to do?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
I will take an even money bet. The only bet I'd be willing to make is that we don't pick at 28.
I would bet we don't pick at 28 either.
That's the only even money bet I would make on
our
what we're
pick is
do.
29. So
we do pick at
Or,
29.
I'm sorry, we don't pick at 29. I got 28 stuck in my head from being the Bills. So I'm sorry.
I understand.
Yeah.
If you had heading into last year's draft, I would have said, like, I think there's enough here to try and predict what Brad Holmes would do. And then last year, now I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Before last year, outside of the Jameson Williams trade, he hadn't moved up or down a lot the first round. But in the later rounds, he's always been active.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't stay put a ton now, especially with last year's first round move.
You know, you could tell
curious.
me they could move up, they could move down, they're going to stick and they're going to take a position of value. They're going to stick and take a center to be a backup center, you know, or whatever. And I would be like, yeah, all right. I could see it.
I don't know if it was part of Detroit or what it was, but they were talking about drafting a starter this year. And he was like, name a position outside of wide receiver 3 where you think we could take a starter at 29.
Edge.
Guard.
Corner.
Guard?
Potentially. I mean
possible, but
not Jonah Jackson. Yeah, was it which one? We kept one. We let one walk, and I forget which one was which.
And then we signed
Glasgow.
Baltimore.
So Glasgow was okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't anything super special. He played decently for us.
He played better than Jonah did last year.
He did. That's true. But Jonah didn't play particularly well either. They were both rated middle of the pack for their position. So, like, if we got a stud guard, I could see that potentially. I think cornerback is probably more likely.
Well, I don't know if you could get a cornerback week 1. I mean, it's a hard position to play, especially if we're going to switch to man coverage. I think edge is going to be your best bet, like Drew said, but, you know, we got Davenport, Pascal.
I mean,
defensive line, I mean, it's going to be hard to upseat McNeil right now. I would say
I do really like this Latu move. Like, I could definitely see that happening if he's falling down the board and Brad Holmes is like, he's at the top of what we got here. We can't let this one go. I could see them moving up into the high teens, low 20s to grab Latu or Verse.
I don't know why. It might not be the first round, but I really feel like they're going to take a defensive lineman based on the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
like, that's fine with me. I'd love to know which one it is.
I know, right?
Yeah.
When we coached the Senior Bowl, that was the year that we made those moves that nobody saw coming, and we hit on all those late round guys.
Rumble says, I think we go corner.
You know, and I would love that. You know,
yeah.
Like, I would love that. I mean, like,
maybe
Amik Robertson is really, really good and just needed a chance. I don't know. But, like,
well, I will say that
I would like to invest in that position.
Robertson and Davis both had some of the highest man coverage grades last year. And they struggled when their team played zone.
Exactly. Right. And
but, I mean,
the Lions don't
man this year, they said.
Yeah.
So
that's seems like that would work in their favor, right?
Yeah. I mean, if fifth or fifth, we'd all be drunk. Who knows how it's going to work out? I can guarantee you it's an upgrade over what we did last year, though. I don't care how bad they are. The best April Fools I saw was that we re-signed Jerry Jacobs to a 4-year deal for like $14 million.
I saw that and I immediately went to like Adam Schefter's page. To be like, this is a fucking joke. So like, I mean, Jerry Jacobs, nice guy, certainly confident guy, still not signed.
I wouldn't even be mad to bring Jerry Jacobs back.
Stop it.
I mean, I wouldn't want to pay him that kind of money, but if you're talking as a QB 4 or 5,
if I wanted a guy, that DJ Moore can just run by multiple times a year, I'll get Jerry Jacobs off the couch.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know a lot of teams with a cornerback 4 or 5 that DJ Moore can't just run by. But yeah, I don't think he belongs anywhere near the starting lineup. But the bottom end of the cornerback lineup, I think he'd be fine.
The question is, like, can you get basically anybody else that's probably better for just as cheap?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think he's great, but he's got that attitude that you want in your cornerback depth, where they think they can go out there if somebody goes down and cover the best guy.
Delusional. Gotcha.
I mean, they're cornerbacks, right? Have you met any of the good cornerbacks in history?
Yeah, but I mean, Jerry Jacobs
is not good.
Right.
No.
So I mean,
they got to have that mentality.
He's no Dion.
Right? No.
I mean, that's okay. Well, Mike, we're at 2 hours here, right?
We are at 2 hours. Well, I appreciate you popping on, Justin, and also
first one on, last
Brian.
one off.
Yeah. Thanks to Brian and Luke
tonight,
as well.
So I'm happy to not be on daddy duty for a little while.
Oh, there you go, man.
Yeah, well, thank your wife for us for letting you out to play.
She owed me after the sickness that went through last week.
Ugh, that doesn't sound fun. All right, anything else for the good of the crew before we bust out of here and catch everybody next Tuesday as usual?
Just want to say thanks to everybody in chat that came out and watched. Danny and Hatters, Rumble, of course, Mav Carter, who I don't know that we've seen before. Patrick Rothwell joined us again. Anybody else that I'm forgetting? Dr. Detroit stopped by and said hi. Donkey Kong got his quote in there, his catchphrase.
Hatters.
So so it was a good time. It was always good to see the guest hosts. So I like that it's becoming a tradition.
Yep, and maybe next time we'll try to get 8 of us, and that way
we 6 is good.
Different division. 6 is good.
6 is. I think 6 is fun.
More trades.
Yeah.
No, there's only so much room on the screen, Mike.
True.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we will catch you later. Have a good one, and then on draft night, we're still going to do our live thing, right, on Thursday. Special episode.
Absolutely.
Pumped for that.
Can't wait.
And then we'll watch Drew deflate when we trade up to like 12
toward the end, though.
Safety.
So, yeah.
We're gonna draft up to like 12 and draft a safety.
Oh, that's great.
Cooper John, we're gonna draft him to play safety.
Right on. All right, we'll talk to you later, guys.
All right, Mike. See you later.
See ya.
See you guys. Thanks.